Why are we living as widows and orphaned within our own families? In life, do you often feel an invisible resistance? Why is it that at work, despite your professional expertise, your proposals are constantly shot down? Why is it that whenever you try to communicate with your family, it ends in arguments and cold wars? Why do you feel that despite your hard work, people keep their distance or even oppose you at every turn? We usually attribute these misfortunes to bad luck or difficult people. However, the Dasachakra Sutra and the Master's teachings reveal a cold, precise truth of the isolation, scarcity, and obstacles you experience now are a reality precisely designed by your own past harsh words and idle chatter. Today, we will take a deep dive into this life debugging technology involving language, mindset, and magnetic fields. Chapter E: The Invisible Laws of the Universe, the Physics of Karmic Discovery. Many people find karma mysterious, but the Master tells us that karma is essentially a set of natural universal laws that are completely impersonal and undisturbed by emotion. E: The Cooking Principle, the Precision of Ratios. The Master often uses the analogy of cooking rice. To cook a good pot of rice, the ratio of water, rice, and heat must correspond precisely. Too much heat and it burns, too little and it's undercooked. Too much water and it becomes porridge, too little and it remains hard. This is a purely physical process. No matter how bad your mood is or how much grievance you feel, if you do not follow the laws of water and rice, you will not get good rice. The principles of life as great affairs are exactly the same as cooking rice. R. Following karma, manifesting according to the mind. The Master cites the essence of the Shurangama Sutra: discovery follows karma. This means the environment, the people, and the rejections you face do not come out from some external place. They manifest according to your own mental state and karma. Sentient beings are your mirror. How you treat the world is how the world reflects back to you. If you find that your words are not trusted and everyone opposes you, it means that in your pot of life, the ratio of water giving and heat tone has long been wrong. Chapter R: The Magnetic Effect of Social Interaction. Selfishness is the origin of loneliness. Why are some people followed wherever they go, while others are destined for solitude and isolation? The Master explains the underlying logic of human relationships through magnetism. E: Like poles repel, the island of the selfish. The nature of most sentient beings is greed and stinginess. If you are also selfish and only protect your own interests, you are the same pole as them. According to the laws of magnetism, like poles repel, the caste and employee focuses only on their personal leave regardless of the company's survival. This seems like self-protection, but it actually turns the person into a negative pole that repels the company's interests. When everyone thinks, my interests are most important, the repulsive force reaches its peak. A piercing observation, the Master points out that modern society is full of widows and orphans within the family. This means that while couples live together and fathers and sons sit at the same table, a vast river flows between their hearts. Why? Because they are playing the game of like poles repelling. The trap of collective karma. When everyone thinks this way, it becomes collective karma. You protect yourself, I protect myself. This identical selfishness creates a repulsive force that pushes everyone away. Even if you are married and have children, you remain a solitary person because you only see your own interests. The gap between you and others is inevitable. Our opposite poles attract. The strongest magnet is the power of sacrifice. How do we break this repulsion and create a relationship that is inseparable? The Master says you must change your own polarity. When the other person is protecting their private interests, negative pole. If you can do the opposite and choose to protect their interests, saying I can sacrifice a little for the sake of it, you become the positive pole. Liu Bei's success quote: How did a man who sold straw sandals earn the trust of the world? Because he dared to use the lives of himself and his family as a stake to protect the interests of his followers. The silly sacrifice. Liu Bei's selflessness might have looked stupid to others, risking everything for strangers. But it was precisely this extreme positive pole that magnetized Guan Yu, Shan Fei, and Zhu Liang. Magnetization. Your influence is not gained through control, but through magnetization. When you are willing to sacrifice a little for others, you transform from a repulsive selfish person into a core magnet that can unify all things. Chapter 3: The Trap of Idle Chatter. How Nonsense Destroys Respect. Among the four faults of speech, Idle chatter, meaningless talk is the easiest to overlook. But it is also the most effective at eroding one's authority. What is idle chatter? The drifting kite. The master defines idle chatter as nonsense, meaningless talk, and words that do not fit the occasion or the principle. Imagine a kite with a broken string drifting in the wind. That is what it's like when a person drifts in speech. One moment they talk about food, the next about clothes, jumping between unrelated topics. This reflects inner chaos. The destructive power, losing skillful means. Why does distancing oneself from idle chatter lead to skillful means? Logic. If you always talk nonsense, it shows you cannot grasp the key points in action, useless action. When you habituate yourself to precise, meaningful expression, you master the exact method without redundant steps. This is called skillful means. Consequences. If you talk too much nonsense, everyone will eventually feel repulsed. A wise person will not hate you, but they will pity you because they know you are a chaotic person incapable of upholding any true dharma. Chapter 4. The 3 elements of karmic achievement. Why just saying it becomes karma? The master reminds us that the creation of karma requires 3 conditions to be met. This is a rigorous karmic engineering process. The root mind, the heart, first moves with a selfish, angry, or chaotic thought. The means, action, you speak it or do it. This is called the means. Completion, satisfaction, after doing it, you feel satisfied or relief. Once these 3 are gathered, a perfect karmic cause is achieved, and you must perfectly receive the karmic fruit in the future. Someone might say, I cursed them in my mind but didn't say it aloud. Is there karma? The master says yes, but because the means is missing, it doesn't form a complete karmic fruit. You will feel a vague discomfort, but you won't encounter a devastating disaster in reality. Therefore, shutting one's mouth is the most basic line of defense for a practitioner. Chapter 2. Life Debugging Guide, from a broken vessel to a Dharma vessel. If you want the influence of all gatherings joyfully seeking refuge in you, you must execute these 3 steps of force debugging. Execute the 4 attractions social strategy. These are not just religious terms, they are the highest laws of human attraction. Giving dana, bestowing benefits. Giving up your own small interests first. Kind words, frequency transformation, turning harsh speech into compassionate speech. Beneficial action, collaboration, truly standing in the other person's shoes and protecting their interests. When you can sacrifice your small interests for the collective good, you become a bodhisattva, and people will naturally gather around you like iron filings to a magnet. Stop the chaos of acting willfully. Cultivation is the practice of not following your mood, no matter how bad your mood is. The door that needs to be closed must be closed properly. The rules that need to be followed must be followed. The master says to view delusion, random thoughts, as the source of all harm. If you cannot even handle the immediate task of opening and closing the door properly, your life's great affairs are destined for failure. Recognize shame. The master corrected the meaning of patience, endurance. You must recognize that it is a shame. Stinginess is a shame because it makes you increasingly miserable. Harsh speech is a shame because it makes you lose respect. When you truly recognize the tragic consequences of these behaviors, you will give rise to fear and therefore dare not commit them again. Chapter 2. Conclusion. Become an awakened one who remembers the pain. Why does the master sometimes repeat words or speak sharply? Because pain makes you remember for a long time. If you let yourself go for even a moment, pain will certainly begin. This is a warning bell. If you do not believe in the loss, you can try it and see how much ease and joy is left in your life after indulgence and selfishness. From today on, be a reliable person. Before speaking, ask, is this meaningful? Does it fit the occasion and the principle? When interests conflict, ask, am I maintaining the repulsion of like poles selfishness or building the attraction of opposite poles compassion? Be in a state of awakening at every moment. Do not drift with your emotions. When you truly achieve distancing from harsh speech and practicing giving, you won't need to beg for trust. You will naturally become a massive magnetic field. Then your words will be believed and accepted by all, with none opposing you. That is not something you beg for. It is the brilliance naturally summoned by aligning with the laws of the universe. Final words. The mind is the root. Recognize the laws. May we all precisely plant good causes in every moment. And in this life drama that is like a dream in a bubble, Direct a masterpiece of awakening that is complete and without regret. See you next time.